Thank you, Art. New this morning, we have all had our share of playground injuries, but in this darkly comic play, they become the thread connecting two people across decades. Opening later this week at the Pump House, Gruesome Playground Injuries tells an unconventional love story through moments of pain and healing. Today, we're joined by Colin from the Pump House to tell us more about bringing this powerful role to life. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Nice to see you again.
Hey,
Thanks
nice
for
to
being
see
here
you.
with
Yes,
us.
thanks for having me.
So interesting. I'm intrigued. Tell us a little bit. What should we know about Gruesome Playground Injuries?
You did a great job there in that introduction. Gruesome
you.
Playground Injuries is this kind of twisted story of it's a dark comedy, it's a drama, and it tells the story of Doug and Kayleen, two childhood friends who kind of grow up together. They become best friends, and they're kind of soulmates in a way, right? And they kind of just can't figure it out.
Okay.
And so we see them in these 8 scenes where their lives kind of come back together, and then they kind of drift apart, right? It's a memory play, and so we jump back and forth in time, and so sometimes you get to see the end of a situation before you get to see the beginning of it.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
What attracted you to this role?
So we always try to pick scripts, Art, that when you're reading them on the page, they're already making you feel something, right? I like to say, if you're reading good writing, there's a lot smaller chance of you screwing it up when you try to actually, make it real and bring it to life. And Rajiv Joseph, the gentleman who wrote this play in 2012, has a lot of great scripts that have been produced on Broadway, and there's just an eloquence to the writing, and the relationship is just very real and very relatable, I think, for everyone.
Okay, yeah, it sounds interesting for sure. So portraying the same character at different ages, I assume that's a little harder on the stage. You know, you don't have a movie set or stuff like that. So tell us a little bit about what goes into that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, like, it being a memory play, memory kind of operates like a prism, right? It's not, when we go back and think about things, we're not just going back in this linear way.
Right.
And so I'm 38. These characters age from age 8 up to age 38.
Okay.
Right, and so I have the benefit of at least being one of the ages currently. But then when you kind of go back in your life, like, it's a lot easier for me to remember 33 than it is to remember 23, than it is to remember 13, than it is to remember 8, right? And so when you kind of go back, you try to find a way to portray it in a way that's authentic, right? Because the farther away you get, it can become a little bit more of like a caricature, right? And so you try to observe people. You try to, like, I have a lot of friends with kids who are around that age, so that's great. Spending time with them and seeing that kind of excitement that they have for life.
Right.
Everything's really new still when you're 8, and so you try to embody that in your physicality and use some vocal inflections where you maybe sound a little bit different before you've aged. And so
All right, you've got a few different tricks.
Yeah, there's some
tricks up your
tactics.
sleeve.
Yeah, we've been rehearsing since the end of January, so we've had some time to practice.
Okay, great.
So you guys have some really gruesome little injuries in there.
Yeah,
that process?
Yeah. So it's been really fun. Joseph Anderson, he's actually a former professor of mine, is doing the costume and makeup design for this show, and so there's a lot of really fun special kind of effects. There's this stuff called fresh scab, and you can put it on, and it kind of layers up, and it really, like, you end up kind of looking like you've got some stuff going on.
Like you've got a fresh scab.
Yeah. There's a lot of really fun stuff as far as that goes, and it's been a part of this production that we haven't really touched on in a lot of other shows that we've done. So it's been a really fun new experience with some of that stuff.
Okay, and anything that audiences will be surprised by?
Yeah, so actually the Pump House was founded in the late 70s, and along that same timeline, the old post office in La Crosse was torn down. And so they brought over a bunch of that old wood from the old post office that was built in 1889 to the Pump House. And so if you've ever been to the Pump House before, you've seen doors and some trim pieces and things like that existed in that original post office. Well, some of that wood ended up in the basement, and it's been there for 50+ years, right? So we were fortunate enough to be able to pull some of that stuff out. The windows that were actually in the top of the tower in the old post office are now serving as kind of the backdrop for our set. And so the light that was streaming in those windows 136 years ago now has a second life and new light streaming right back through those windows again on the set.
Incredible. Incredible. Okay, a little bit of history, self-reflection, and
Yeah.
theater. What else do you
Yeah.
need, right? So pumphouse.com, that's the website?
Yeah, if you check
Okay.
out www.thepumphouse.org.
Okay, .org.
Yep, and you can get tickets there. You can also get them in person. That first Thursday is a free preview, kind of donation-based performance.
Okay.
We try to, one of the company missions is access for all, so we're trying to make things accessible for everybody. So things are expensive, theater
Yeah.
tickets are expensive, a night out helps kind of
Helps cover
assist with the costs that you have on going
Okay,
out for a night.
great. All right,
Yeah.
well, pumphouse.org, we'll get all the details there. Thank you for
Great.
being here with us, Colin.
Hey,
nice
thanks
to
for
see you
having me.
again.
You too.
All right, stay with us. We're back right after this.